So, the Dr. Umar Method, coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense Logical Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So, I talk a lot about Dr. Umar Johnson. No doubt about that. I say he's an idiot. And again, I like to prove that he's an idiot. That's why I brings up the things that he say, all of the interviews that he give. But then he puts himself out there. Okay, and he's the one out there who's a self-appointed, so-called black leader, Pan-Africanism and all this other nonsense that he's trying to push all this Africano this, Africano that, walk around these dashikis, trying to create this great solidarity of all the black people in the world as if that's what we need. Anyway, if you listen to Dr. Umar Johnson long enough, you will notice that he have a pattern that he typically uses. Now, if you are logical, that is, logical people, especially extremely logical people, will pick up on this, because people who are logical tend to notice bullshit when they hear it, and they pick up on it when they hear it. And Dr. Umar Johnson is a bullshit artist. But and the pattern with him is, okay, you start with whatever the subject is, whatever the subject they're talking about, right? He'll give a base observation or maybe some base facts about the subject, and you may or may not agree with it, but in most cases, I don't see why you wouldn't agree. No one would disagree on that. And then the next thing the next thing he does is he racializes the subject, right? He'll use such phrases as, economic oppression from the white man, or white power structure. He'll use such phrases like that compared to the subject matter at hand. And then the next thing that he does is he starts theorizing about how the subject is racism, or what's racism about the subject, right? He'll give you this ridiculous theory. He'll run down this ridiculous theory on how it's racism. Now, he won't give you a single in providing the evidence of how to back up what he's saying, but he'll have these theories. And then the fourth step, the last step, he starts theorizing about what people think. Right? It could be anyone, any particular person, or any group. He'll start theorizing upon what that one person thinks, or what the whole group of people think, and then repeat the process. Now, of course, it won't always be all four of the steps, but more often than not, it will. And again, this is what he does. So let me give you an example. Let's say you take any subject matter, for that matter, the sky, right? He'll say that the sky is blue, right? Which we can all agree on. We've all seen the sky all of our lives. We've seen that the sky is blue. So nobody can really disagree with him that if he says the sky is blue, right? Well, it is blue, right? But then he will start basically racializing. The blue sky is economic oppression by the white man. Then he'll start throwing together this theory on what makes the blue sky racist. The white man completed the blue sky because they knew the blue color puts the black man in a trance and keep the black man pacified. Because, right, then he starts theorizing about what someone thinks, because the white man think that the black man is less than them and they want to keep the black man down. Ridiculous nonsense like that. That's the method that you notice what he does. Again, you take another subject, let's say cooking oil, right? We've all seen cooking oil before. Nobody, you see, if somebody says something is cooking oil, and we've seen cooking oil, and we all agree that's cooking oil, right? But then he'll racialize the cooking oil. The cooking oil is an attack upon black health. Then he'll throw together this theory on how this cooking oil is causing black folks' health. The white man wants the black man to give, only black man to give vegetable oil. They do vegetable oil. It's not the health, this health, the oil. They don't want the black man to get the healthy oils. They want the black man to get have high blood pressure and die. Then they start theorizing about what white people think again, or whatever group people think. Because the white man wants to eliminate the black man off the face of the planet. They want the black man gone. Again, provide no evidence of none of this foolishness. but that's how he operates. Now, this may sound a bit ridiculous. Anybody, average person listening out there will say, well, that's kind of ridiculous. But understand that I'm a very logical person. And when I listen to Dr. Umar Johnson, as ridiculous as those two examples that I gave sound, that's how ridiculous he sounds to me all the time. Okay? Again, to extremely logical people, see right through his BS. Okay? So anyway, let's go into an actual example of Dr. Umar Johnson doing this.
How are you?
I'm well, and yourself, Queen?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm so
right.
excited to have. I actually can't believe you're here in Australia
Me either.
on the Bittersweet podcast.
It's been a long time coming.
Is this your first trip here?
First time in Australia. You guys were the
Amazing.
last continent. I've done every other continent but you.
How are you liking it?
I love it.
Yeah?
I've had a great time so far. I landed in Sydney Thursday morning, didn't see any black people for about 5 hours. I was going to go back to the airport and go back to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But then I flew to Melbourne and I started seeing African people. So I said, I guess this was not a CIA
Yeah.
setup.
So Melbourne's the most that you've seen.
Yes. In
Yeah.
Queensland yesterday, we had a great program there as well, but not as many Africans.
Yeah.
Melbourne has been the New York City of Australia.
Melbourne is definitely, and I think over the years, I don't think it would have been the same situation if it was a few years ago.
Okay.
Or I don't know if more people are flying into Melbourne, or we just have more of a.
This is the interview that Dr. Umar Johnson did on the Bittersweet podcast in Australia just recently. And again, the part that I brought up, this is from the very beginning. I didn't cherry pick any specific example in that interview. And the reason why I picked this particular interview, because I plan on doing a breakdown on this again. I like to provide evidence that Dr. Umar Johnson is an idiot. And I will definitely do a breakdown of this video. But like I said, that was from the very beginning. I didn't pan through the video to find some perfect specific example. This is the very beginning, once they got past the introductions and they really started getting into the interview. And as I said, if you listen to him, you'll consistently see this pattern of him. Because he doesn't have any real evidence of any racism, anything, or systemic anything. So they have to make up nonsense. And this is how he operates. Now, as I said, he won't always use all of the steps, but more than likely he will. And this is one of those things that once you see it, it's kind of hard to not to see. In order for you not to see this, you just have to be a straight ultra Umar fan and you just brainwashed to believe what he want to say. And unfortunately, that's a lot of black people. But there's countless content of him out there proving what I'm saying is right. Again, and the reason why, like I say, this just is a pattern that I noticed of him after being a very logical person. So that's just the Umar method. Listen to Dr. Umar Johnson and you're going to hear this method over and over again. Just make it a base fact. Anyway, y'all, that's pretty much my 2 cents on this. And as always, until next time.